I'm ready to go whenever you are, Emma.
I already started.
All right, we're ready for you, Doc.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Doc, and I'm going to be running Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition for Blades and Blasters. If you haven't already subscribed to Blades and Blasters, please consider doing so. Tonight, we're going to be running Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition with 4 players. Emma is with us tonight. She's going to be playing Arda. Lucid is here with us tonight. He's going to be playing Lucian. Maddie, of course, is going to be here with Juliana. And then we have Ghost, who also did a character creation video. Check that out. And he's going to be playing Duroc, the dwarf. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. It is a dark day for the Empire. The Elector Counts, unable to agree on a rightful heir to the throne, leave it empty, and instead choose to fight amongst themselves for the cursed seat. 3 provinces rise to the challenge, to challenge each other. Middenheim, Marienburg, and Reichlin all seek to claim the rule of the Empire for themselves. Border princes, petty nobles, merchants, and warlords all have their own reasons to choose a side. All fight for their gods, their honor, or their purse. As they try to consolidate their powers, the 3 provinces also have to deal with both internal threats of rebellion, as well as external threats posted by orc warbands, beastmen herds, and even chaos marauders to the north. For the simple folk, it is a dark age, filled with hunger, disease, and death. May Sigmar save our empire. May he save your wretched soul. Two hateful days of little water and food as you track the bandits down to this spot. The carnage they left back on the road 2 days back was obvious. The tracks they left were less so. But here you are now, a determined band of misfits who took this job 1 week ago from the old man Anhalf. He offered you what payment the small fishing village could in exchange for the removal of these bandits who have been attacking the carriages in and out of the small village. You weren't the likeliest of choices for the job like this, no, not with 2 women amongst you. But you were the only choice, what with all the able-bodied mercenaries and fighters all filling their coin purses, choosing sides during this wretched time. I guess having a dwarf with you didn't hurt either. 2 days of tracking and trudging brought you here. It's time to earn your coin. Can everyone please roll initiative?
Ooh.
Any modifier to it or no?
No modifiers. Okay. So, I'm not sure why, but it's not tracking over on the turn order, so we'll just have to add you in. How do I add you in manually? Do you know that, Ghost?
You should be able to either, I think, right-click our tokens, or and then add turn.
Yeah, I think that
There.
works.
There
And
we
then
go.
you, I don't know if lower or higher is better. Probably lower, given what we just saw here.
I think it's based on like the number of success, whatever, SL.
Okay. So 3, -2, 2, 3. So Brother Lucian, Duroc, Juliana, Arda. Okay, and in that order, you have been tracking the bandits for 2 days, following them through the forest until finally reaching the entrance to this crypt. You can smell the wet earth as you push the door open with the creak and walk in. Light coming in through holes above and through the door that you just opened. You're able to see 3 men standing at the back. You're standing back there, unloading bags, moving crates. And as soon as you walk in, the light shines. All 3 of them turn around. They turn around, draw their weapons, look at you menacingly, and then the one in the back yells, "Brother Lucian, it's your turn."
Brother Lucian steps forward, his hand axe already at the ready. Should I do a quick little intro here, or would that?
We were going to do it. Yeah, you know what? You can do it here. This is a good spot to do it. Before
All right.
everyone's turn, they can do their intro.
So, Brother Lucian Blackgrave was slouched against the side of the crypt wall and hugging close to the passage, his heartbeat pounding in his ears and sweat beating down his neck, even as the chill of this place sent shivers up his spine. "I'm getting sick of this," he says as he steps forward with his hand axe already drawn. When he was younger, Lucian could never have imagined his life coming to something like this, sneaking through a fetid mausoleum to get the drop on some piss-poor bandits for some piss-poor local big man, and frankly, failing at getting the drop on them too. Especially for the kind of cord they were offered. Not so long ago, he wouldn't have even bothered to bend over and pick it up had it fallen at his feet. But these days, you see, Lucian Blackgrave wasn't always a rogue. In lives long past, he had been the son of a wealthy and respected merchant trading family in Mordheim, and after that, he had been a less than devout monk in the Order of Scale-Bearers. Perhaps he was always destined for this role. He looked like he was born to play a dashing outlaw. He had a face that was long and lean, like a knife, with cold blue eyes, jet black hair, a widow's peak, and a villain's goatee dyed red. He stood a solid 6'1", but was rail thin. His clothing looked like it had once been fine, but now was patched and threadbare. There was danger in his smile, but his grin was the kind that stirred the hearts of men and women and dared them to partake in whatever mischief he had in mind. As the bandits turned to him, that smile flashed across his face then, though what it told they did not yet know. Frankly, though, Lucian was distracted. The mischief he had in mind was less dealing with these three men and more the possibility of dealing with the daughter of the village elder that had hired him. Anhalf Egner, the old fool, had little sense and even less gold, but his daughter was buxom and had kept glancing at Lucian from the bar door. Lucian glanced over at Juliana, wondering if she would also be interested in the girl, but he could see she was in no such mood. She looked uncomfortable and more angry than normal in this place, and frankly, Lucian couldn't blame her. In the back of his head, he knew he had gotten her into this mess, though she stuck with him, and she wasn't the first woman he had gotten into a mess, but she was the only one who stuck around, and he appreciated that. Despite all the fights, all the other men and women, despite all the bullshit, they were still there, together, and perhaps one day he'd be able to put her back in the kind of place she deserved. But for now, he needed to deal with these bandits. So with that in mind, stepping forward with his hand axe drawn, he shouted at them, "Best lower your weapons, or else you'll be eating this blade." And can I do an intimidation check?
Sure, yeah. You're looking at one? You're looking at all? You're trying to intimidate?
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to intimidate the group.
Okay, you can try and intimidate all of them. We're going to go off of the leader's willpower.
Okay.
To be able to keep himself and his men in line. And since you are in their territory, you are going to get a -10 to this roll.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. Nice.
Let me open my NPCs. There we go. And I'm going to roll for the leader's willpower.
Damn it.
So you try and intimidate them, but with his dog at his side, snarling and slathering slobber all over the place, the bandits look back at their leader and see him staring back at you, cold-eyed, snarling dog at his side. It encourages them to stand fast. They draw their weapons, plant their feet, and look straight ahead at you.
Okay. Lucian is gonna kind of advance a little bit, but not into melee range with them yet, and take up a stance where he feels like he's in a good position, and wait for one of them to advance.
Okay. The ranges should all be accurate.
Are we supposed to be on a different page?
Yeah, we're still on the map page.
Yeah.
Oh,
As I was looking, I was like, oh man.
that might help.
It's like dog. Oh, that's a big dog.
Okay.
I think I did that with my very first session of Eclipse Phase 2. Left everyone on the opening page and started the game on a different page.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up the movement chart real fast. All right, so I could walk with a movement of 4. I could walk 8, and I could run 16. Am I correct in assuming?
Exactly. Whatever
Okay.
your move is, that's the double in feet that you can walk. Yeah, double that and run.
Okay, Lucian will advance to about there.
Duroc Drickson, you see Lucian cautiously moving to your left. Go ahead and introduce yourself and take your actions.
Duroc. Duroc Dickerson's my name. Proud dwarf of Clan Mulgrim. A story about me? Aye, sure. I was a wee lad of Clan Mulgrim, born to Dricky Borigson and Melda Fennisdottir. Me proud ma and pa. We're a bit of a peculiar clan to other dwarves, so aye, we had our craftsmen, jewelers, miners, and warriors. But we were waterborn, Dawe. I like to ply the rivers and seas. The old's just off the mountains west of Marienburg. We dug tunnels all the way to the sea. Right under those pointsy manlings in Batonia. Oh, they knew what their king have done. Declared war on the Dowie. It restores the precious gems and metals for the fancy crowns. Ha! I myself was a fisher, Dowie. Enjoyed the trade too. Meddled in the militia to deal with Groby and the occasional rat man, but nothing to bother about. Spent most of my days fishing, right off the docks and in the waterways. Aye, it was a good life. Aye, it was. In my youthful 60s was when things turned. The Axe Dwarfs had no chance. It was a green tide. A wave of Groby, Urks, trolls. Good Dowie chopped down in their homes. Crafts splayed on the ground and defiled by Groby filth. Tunnels that took centuries to build capsized because the filthy Groby took out the supports. Hundreds of years of work undone in a single night. Me whole clan scattered to the wind. Me ma and pa dead. Me uncle, cousins, aunts. A dark day under the ancestors' gaze. Worst of all, there was nothing we could have done. Sicky Witelgi lured the Urks into our hold to keep them away from their woodlands, all because of a perfectly legitimate lumber trade that stirred them to the trickery. 2 grudges were born that day. The Groby and Witelgi would never be forgiven for the slight against the Dowie. Aye, so many cut their beards and greased their hair. The oath was born, myself among them. The tattoos still scab and burn, but nothing burns as bright as the fire in me stone soul. Aye, a hatred burning hot enough to melt steel into liquid. I'll not rest till the clan hold is in Dowie hands again, and every death has been avenged in full. Witelgi be damned, Groby be damned, and then when Clan Mulgrim retakes the realm, I'll go die fighting the biggest damned beast I can find. For even if I retake the hold and clear my shame, second shame of carrying that shame to begin with can never be undone. So there's my story, lad. Pass me another pint, would you? And seeing the foolish bandits splayed out in their mausoleum before him, and Lucian's words trying to get them to surrender. Ah, Lucian, don't waste your time. This Omgi filth is lower than the low. Show him force and blood and steel instead, manling. And I'd scream and start running towards running as fast as my little dwarfen legs can take me. To about there. Axe raised high.
Okay. Juliana.
And as Juliana steps inside, even before seeing the bandits, she chews on the inside of her cheek, looking around at the crowding walls and ceiling, her eyebrows furrowing as she takes in the place, nose wrinkling at the smell. Still, even being outside her own comforting walls in Bretonia, the smell of must and just wetness still bothered her. Bandits. Why did it have to be bandits? Why did it have to be a crypt? It reminded her of all the times she was forced to go into the family crypts and pay respects to the deceased members of House Vosk. All died valiantly in combat. Only the ladies not born to Vask blood would die of old age. The crowding walls and low ceilings always gave Juliana the creeps. She was not comfortable with this type of enclosed space and lack of light. All she wanted to do was leave. Alas, they had a mission to do. The garb did not match the location they were in. Fine clothes suitable for a courtly woman adorned her, the fabric elegant and of quality make. Though with the amount of travel they had done, it is obvious the weathers and just the days took a toll. Many days, much to her discomfort, without proper baths. Very much upset the fabric and Juliana herself, making her not look as elegant as she once was. Though the air she carried when she walked was that of a woman born into a higher class, and she maintained that air even though she was in a place such as this. Coming from a family full of knights, she did feel fairly unarmored and underdressed for hunting these bandits. Unfortunately, she forgot to steal a set of armor before she ran away from home. Before coming into the crypt itself, as she glared over at Lucian, she thought, I am not sure if this situation is better than the one I was in. Crawling around crypts, taking any job just to get by and be able to eat. I blame Lucian for this one. Always wanting to get in these precarious situations for coin. And I am not one to say no to money. Especially since we have spent almost all of what little I took before we left. But there is a fine line between hunting bandits out in the open and hunting them inside these awful places. Why couldn't they have been in some sort of spacious cavern or some sort of forest house, not the crypt of all places? Being in such an unfamiliar place worries me. I do not know what kind of force the bandit group has, nor what type of weaponry. Father had taught me how to plan for attacks, even mildly how to use weapons, but even he wouldn't have gone into such an unknown battle like this. Not without sending scouts first. Though I would rather deal with the bandits and not awful merchants from before. Fat, disgusting, mouth breather. Only good thing about them was the coin they had. Family tried to sell me like one of the horses. My goals were to acclimate into House Rice, the house my family served as knights and advisors, not be bargained off to the first man who flashed coin. I have Lucian to thank for helping me lead the situation. I am glad he is still here with me. Though we have other differences, our separations, our fights, we always get back together in the end. I do not think I could have made it this far without him. And entering the crypt itself, she continued to chew the inside of her left cheek. The discomfort she tried to play down. She stared with her steely grey eyes at the bandits ahead. Seeing Lucian's, unfortunately, failed attempt at intimidation, she held back the urge to roll her eyes at him. Always trying to solve things with talk. Barely ever worked. She took out the small dagger she had in her hands, spinning it around and gripping it in her right, before hurrying up beside Lucian, trying to assist him in case anything came to that side. She looks to him with a hard look. If we die in this place, it is going to be your fault. I hope you know this.
And then finally we have Arda.
Arda looks around the room nervously, seeing the dog and the 3 bandits. She steps forward slowly, following after the others as she does so. She thinks to herself, why the hell am I here? I get that we need coin. I get that we were offered work. I get that Maester Elwick told me to get my head out of his books and get some practical experience in magic and the lore of the heavens. But why? Why the hell is it so important that I come all the way out to places like Britannia and Ostermark to understand magic better? What is it that I need to experience that I can't find in my books? Why do I need to squabble for pennies when I have access to the best while I'm at the college? I miss my bed. I miss my books. I miss my mom. I miss Oscar holding me closely. I miss his kiss. I nearly died, for heaven's sake. If it weren't for Lucian, Juliana, and the dwarf, I would have been killed by those robbers in Bretonnia. Perhaps worse. Whatever. They need coin. I need to travel. We'll see where this leads for now. Perhaps as we're passing near Altdorf, I'll be able to stop in and beg to be done with this mess. Or maybe I'll be able to find something out here that will surprise Maester Elwick and his smug know-it-all face. For now, I guess I'm here, in this crypt, with these people, probably about to die for nothing. All for some freaking pennies. And she's not gonna go up far, she's just gonna step up. Basically right next to this little column, waiting to see what happens.
So as you all make your moves, moving forward, Lucian attempting to intimidate them, and the leader with his snarling dog just laughing it off, bolstering the courage of his men. His men looking back at him, and then them looking back at you guys. This one right here, excuse me, with his sword drawn, holds it up into the air, points it at Lucian. Pointing it at Lucian. Let me check something. Pointing it at Lucian, he takes his sword and starts walking forward, walking towards you, deliberately, purposefully, sword in hand, holding it in your direction the entire time, stopping right at the corner, giving pensive looks back towards his leader, who nods at him and encourages him. The leader looks down at his dog. He kneels, and as he kneels, he unleashes the beast, takes the rope off of its neck, whispers something into his ear. And as he whispers something into his ear, the dog comes running across the leader and around the other bandit. Being surprised by that, the bandit over here moves around this post, circling around again with his weapons drawn, his sword pointing out, brandishing it, pointing it in your direction as he tries to make his way around. And then finally, this man at the back looks confident, unfazed, smiling even. He walks forward, and he just keeps contact, looking you all in the eyes as he walks forward. Then he takes a step and steps up onto a small platform. It's raised above everyone else. Below him, some black water. He stands there, above everyone, sword in hand, dog snarling. Lucian, it's your action.
Lucian is going to rush forward, and is this like a tomb or a coffin, like a stone coffin? What's the word I'm thinking of?
It's a bench.
Sarcophagus.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking sarcophagus. Thank you.
It's like a stone bench.
Lucian is going to rush forward and jump onto the to have a height advantage and to close into melee with that guy.
Okay, so as you rush forward and jump onto the stone bench, make me an athletics test with a +20 for an average check.
Give me 1 second. I'm actually running into the problem that when I try and take the token and move him that far up, it runs into all the macros and just won't let me move that.
Oh, you can the scroll bar at the top right, you can shrink the map size down so that you can fit everything in. And then that way when you hit your token, the macros will be well above it. And that's with your +20?
That is with the +20. Can I spend a point of fortune to re-roll?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Jeez. Okay.
So you go running towards the bench and you go to jump up, and whether it's the dog snarling or the sight of the bandit leader staring you down, your foot catches the bench. And as your foot catches the bench, you go prone onto the side of it. And that ends your turn. Duroc.
So Duroc sees the bandit unleash a dog and just kind of spits on the ground. Manlings, too weak to their own fighting, so they get beasts to do it for them. Is there a rock nearby?
Sure, there's a rock nearby.
I'm gonna pick up a rock and throw it at the dog.
Okay. That's going to be basic.
BS.
What you call it? Yeah. So you pick up a rock, and as the dog darts around that corner, you chuck it as hard as you can, which is pretty hard for a dwarf troll slayer. And the rock flies through the air, and as it flies through the air, the dog comes around the corner, and it cracks it right on the head. And you hear as the dog runs back just a little bit before hiding behind the pool at its master's side, having been hit and surprised and shocked, not knowing what to do, he runs back to his master.
Yeah, you mangy booger! You're the one I want! And I'm gonna walk and get up on top of the pool here. Quit hiding behind your beast and come out here and die like the filthy umgi you are!
Juliana!
Juliana watches Lucian attempt a flourishing leap onto the bench, and seeing him fall, she unfortunately cannot help the urge to roll her eyes. Every time you try to do something fancy, you always fall on your face. And she'll rush up, just in case, kind of almost standing over him. She holds out the dagger, pointing it towards the bandit. Are you ready to fight a girl?
And then Arda.
Arda looks at all this, watching what's happening, formulating a bit of a plan, but just kind of at the start of it. She grabs her grimoire, holding it in her hand, and she's going to step forward. Kind of right over here. She's not going to do anything yet. She's watching to see how everything's unfolding first.
Okay, you can take an action too if you'd like. So if there's something out of the grimoire you wanted to use, you can do that.
She doesn't want to use it this early.
Okay.
And she's not close enough to anything to really use anything like useful.
Understood.
So she's just hanging there for right now.
So as Arda pulls her grimoire out of her sack, opens it up, starts thumbing the pages, this bandit over here, after seeing Lucian fall down, he just cackles and just points his sword at you on the ground and laughs. This is too easy. And then with that, he rushes Juliana. He's going to charge Juliana, so that gives him a +10 bonus just for charging. So we both make our melee tests, Juliana. The one you created the macro for,
yes.
Your basic melee test. Yep.
Sure. Where did
And
it
then
go?
my guy gets a +10 for charging.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find it again. Where did it... So I got dagger. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Oof. Can I spend fortune to reroll that?
Sure you
Okay.
can.
That's what I'm gonna do. Because, oh my goodness. Ah, fuck.
So he charges you, and his footing is off. Fighting over the bench is awkward. Hearing Lucian on the ground whining, everything just throws him off. As he charges in with his sword, amazingly, you're able to raise your dagger just in time to kind of deflect it away. And as you deflect it away, the dog who sits there whimpering, unable to move for the time being because it was stunned so badly, continues to look for some kind of direction from his master. And then finally, the leader, seeing the dog behind him, can't really turn and do anything about it now. He sees the dwarf climb up onto the pool, and he starts making easy footwork, moving to the side. And he stands there on the edge, facing the dwarf, sword in hand, ready to face him. Finally, this bandit over here starts slowly making his way around the edges of darkness as he goes from one pillar to the next. After everyone's made their moves, Brother Lucian, you can stand up as your movement action if you'd like.
Brother Lucian does stand up, swearing to himself all the while. Sigmar's balls back! Coming to his feet. Is he within melee range of the other guy? Or
I'll say yes, you are in melee range with a penalty for having the bench between you and having Juliana that close to you as well in the way. So you're at a -10 also from the fall to a melee attack.
Okay, so -10 total?
-10 total, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so as Lucian kind of rises, swearing to himself, he swings his blade up the he swings his war axe up towards the bandit in front of him, but it doesn't seem to have gone.
You swing your sword up at him, and you make contact with his weapon, definitely, and there's the clink of metal on metal as there's a scraping as his sword comes down. He kind of pushes Juliana off to the side to meet your weapon, and as he does, his weapon catches your arm and does 4 points of damage to your total. This is probably a good time, if you guys would like to, the red bubble for your tokens can be your hit points.
I would set green as toughness and blue as armor if you have any.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to move him. The macros really do just take up a lot of.
It's like our Conan game.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I know in Warhammer, in Dark Heresy, I believe, you subtract like your toughness from the damage taken. Is that the case here right now?
Yep, your toughness bonus, whatever that is.
Yeah, and you can determine that from the tens digit in your toughness for anybody who can check that. So if you have a toughness of 30, you have 3 toughness, and that's your natural soak for anything unless whatever hits you ignores toughness.
And where did he hit me? My arm?
Your arm, yes.
Okay, so I take 1 point of damage. Okay, gotcha.
Duroc.
Well, there's only about one move to make. Duroc charges full speed along the edges of this pool at the bandit leader, yelling the whole way.
And that gives you a +10 to your attack.
Ooh.
So basically what happens here is you both have success level 3. Whoever has the higher basic attribute, yours is 67, his is 52, yours is, you win. So you come charging in with your weapon raised, come up against him. He braces for your impact, and as you come in bringing your weapon down just slightly off, and you're able to strike him. You can hit your weapon, unless you made a macro for it. Sorry, I didn't do macros for everyone's weapons. You can do it off the sheet.
I think X will be mine. Let me see if that is what it is, and it's not. No, that's fine. So I'll just roll it off the sheet. The hell?
Well, we're just going to use it for the damage because we know you hit him already.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to see why it's not rolling the damage.
I don't think the damage is rolled. It's like your strength bonus
Yeah.
plus the weapon. I think if it's
There you go.
it's like +2.
Because it's a D10, and then your strength bonus, whatever weapon is, and hand weapons are strength bonus +4, or the other way around.
Strength bonus was 4. Yep,
Yeah.
for hand weapons.
Yep. X is a hand weapon, so it'll be 15 to
His arm.
38. Yeah,
To his
38
to his left arm.
Mhm.
Yep. So you bring your axe down, and as he stumbles just a little bit from your charge, he turns to face your impact. And as he turns to face your impact, your axe comes down on his left arm that's facing you. As it comes down, it tears into the leathers on his arms, which subtracts 2 from the total damage that you've done to him, bringing you to 13 damage, which is enough to knock him down, actually. Knocks him down. As he falls backwards off the platform. And he's lying there, stunned and bleeding.
Should have got your footing right, manling. Soon you'll pay for it with your life.
Juliana.
Yeah. Just a question about last round. Since I beat the bandit,
Yes, you get
yeah.
+10.
Okay. So Juliana kind of makes her way around, and she looks to Lucian. Don't get hit so much. She'll kind of move around, still brandishing her dagger, and she'll get fairly close to the bandit and attempt to stab him. I'll just roll. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Oof. Oh, I get +10? Sorry?
You get +10, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it 49? It should be actually much less than that. It should be, it's not a 49 that I have. I think it's a 39.
But 39
+10.
Oh, +10. Yep. I'm smart. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the same thing happens. You both you strike at him with your dagger, and he's able to raise his weapon up. But as he raises his weapon up to block it, even though you both have the same skill level or success level, you have the higher attribute right now, especially because of your +10, and you're able to hit him. So if you'd like, you can roll your dagger.
Hey, I don't think it's okay. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna.
So you move and dodge out of his way, strike at him with your dagger. You hit him straight in the body, and as you hit him in the body, you can hear an oof as your dagger goes through his leather, and you're able to do 3 points of damage.
And she, when they were in the middle of combat, she had the dagger out. She kind of fainted one way, ended up connecting quickly with the sword, and then being able to kind of push the sword up and away, she was able to slightly stagger him back while impaling the dagger into his chest. Unfortunately, it wasn't anywhere vital. She pulls the dagger out quickly and gives a bit of a smirk to the bandit.
Arda.
Can Arda see this guy? Or has she been able to see him moving?
Yes, you've seen him moving, but right now he is behind that pillar, directly away from you. So he would be considered to have hard cover from you.
Okay. She's going to step up here if she can. Do I need to make a check or anything, or can I just do that for you?
Nope, not if you're just kind of carefully moving over and stepping up there. If you were running and jumping, you'd have to make an athletics test, right, Lucian?
That's what I learned.
So she's gonna step up there, putting her thumb in the page that she needs to be on for her grimoire. As she places her feet, she opens it. Alright, there's 4 of you. This is gonna be your last chance to make this easy. She says an incantation, and from her hand springs these 4 globes of light that are lightly flickering. She basically is casting marsh lights. And she can cast a number of lights equal to her intelligence bonus, which is 4. She's kind of counting on these people not to know what magic is, and hoping they just see this as kind of like a magical attack and making them a bit afraid. Drop your weapons now, or this is gonna get ugly for you. And she's gonna have her kind of one on each side of her.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And that doesn't cost anything to cast, correct? So it just auto-succeeds.
Yeah.
So as these lights come emanating out of your hand, it sounds like you're trying to essentially intimidate them with your magical prowess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and once again use the willpower of the leader to see if any of them are frightened by this.
Should I still use Intimidate?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
The leader looks at you as the lights come emanating out of your hand, and he sees these globes shining, coming into the air. Oh, you know what? I am sorry. The leader is stunned and on the ground. They are not going to use his willpower. They are going to use their own willpower individually. The leader probably doesn't even see this going on right now as he lies on the ground, kind of writhing in pain. So this gentleman over here, he's going to look at these lights coming from your hand. He looks at them and he basically sees them for the trick they are. He takes no notice, especially being in combat with the other two. He's too occupied, too distracted to even really care about anything that you're doing over there. Then this other one behind the pole over here, behind the pillar. The glowing orbs kind of floating above your head. He looks from around the pillar. He just kind of smirks and laughs to himself. They've been in enough crypts and have fought enough undead that some paltry trick like this is going to have no effect on them.
Alright, that's all I can do.
Over here, this one being ganged up on, still in his fight with Lucian and Juliana, going back and forth, strikes, movement of his feet, kind of edging back and forth, fighting over this bench, pressed up against this pool. Nowhere else to go. He takes his sword and swings it at Juliana.
Oh, I'm gonna spend a fortune to reroll that, because that was awful.
Okay.
Oh, less awful.
Less awful, but he swings his sword at you, and you only have a dagger. You have your dagger sitting there. Nothing else to use. So his sword comes down, and it connects. And do you have any armor on your head?
No!
And what's your toughness bonus?
3.
So it does 5 damage as it brings the sword down across your face, across your cheek, your chin. And he looks at you with a glare as the sword connects, blood dripping off the end of the point.
And Juliana stumbles back a bit, clutching her face and just gritting her teeth. What the fuck? Oh, it's someone in the face!
The dog, seeing his master lying there on the ground, bleeding and stunned, stays by his side, kind of licking his face, encouraging him to get up. The bandit leader, moaning, kind of rolls and rocks from side to side, and finally stands to his feet. His arm gashed open, barely working. Fortunately, it was his left arm. His right arm, still holding his sword, turns and faces the dwarf up on the pool. This one over here continues to sneak around, menacingly coming around from behind the pole. Lucian.
Bastard, that was a mistake you made, Lucian says, lunging forward, and striking at the bandit. I was looking, Maddie and I get the plus 20 bonus for outnumbering?
Yes.
2 to 1
yes,
in melee?
You do. Yes. Sorry, Matt, I didn't add that last time. But yes, you do get plus 20 for outnumbering someone in melee.
Ooh.
Oof. So you go to strike him, and you definitely hit him. As you hit him, his sword goes flying. Roll 1d10.
I will say, normally the damage, we were looking this up, it's not rolled. It's a flat number.
It's static, yeah.
Flat plus SO.
So that would be 10 damage, because my base sword is 7. And then
your strength bonus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's my strength bonus plus 4, and then is the base weapon damage, and then the number of degrees of success, like the success level, gets added in as well. So that would
that's right. Yeah, plus 3. And as you hit him and strike him, his sword goes flying past you in this direction over here. And as it goes flying past you, your weapon comes down. Go ahead and roll your weapon to see where you hit him.
Sorry, 1 second.
So you hit him in the head. So describe what that looks like as he falls into a bloody pool at your feet.
does this kill him?
This kills him.
So Lucian says, "You fucked up now, bastard!" and lunges forward and actually with his left arm grabs the extended arm that the bandit had used to attack Juliana with, yanks him towards him, and actually stabs straight into his skull with like the pointed spike on top of his war axe, impaling him, and then with a flick of his wrist sends the body tumbling at his feet.
As you pulled his arm towards you, that's when his weapon went flying past you, clanked on the stone or ground, and his body crumps at your feet with a large gash from your axe deeply rooted in the middle of his head.
Do I still have a move action?
You do.
So Lucian is going to, having done that, then start coming up to circle around this fountain to try and help the other.
Duroc.
Duroc sees the bandit get back up off the ground. Don't know why you wasted the effort. You're going right back down. Ah! And it's gonna run in true Slayer fashion. I'm gonna go ahead and burn a resilience, and I'm gonna headbutt this guy, flying headbutt, to take him to the ground with it. And I'm gonna. So for burning resilience, what I'm gonna use is I will not fail. It's rather than roll the result of the test, you choose the number instead. And I'm just going to roll in that one to critically succeed.
Nat 1 for a critical success of your athletics chest that I would have made you roll. As you go running down the little stone raised pool, your feet plodding, dunk, 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 jumping off the edge, leaping at him as he stands there still half dazed. You run and your strong dwarf forehead just meets his face. And as it meets his face, there's a sickening crunch. And as that crunch just kind of gives way to your skull, you stand there straddling him, and he's lying on the ground, on his back, arms outstretched, and it looks like there's an indentation almost in his forehead with the strength of your hit. He's lying there, blood coming out of his ears, out of his nose, the sides of his mouth. And he has expired.
And,
Juliana. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and Duroc will stand up. Drung them! Kill them all!
And Juliana gives one last kick to the bandit now lying at her feet, blood pooling. Some of the blood kind of spraying onto her own clothes. Right now she's really just concerned with her face. She cups it with her left hand, occasionally pulling it back, looking down at the blood. Her hand, once pale, now covered in red. She grits her teeth again, trying not to whimper, trying to keep that hard look, hard demeanor, as she hurries over to where the sword clattered onto the floor and picks it up as her own.
You now have a sword.
She looks back to Arda. I would suggest backing up. And she puts away the dagger, having the sword now in her right hand, and her left hand still on her face, trying to hold it together.
Arda.
She sees how everyone reacted and sees what's going on. She's gonna look towards this guy. Well, I guess I'm supposed to kill you now. She's gonna step down from the perch, or from whatever this is, and flips through a couple pages of her grimoire, stepping forward slowly, and she's gonna cast Shock. It doesn't say anything about making a roll. It just says your target receives 1 stun condition.
So as you put your hand out, you essentially run up to him, take him by surprise. He stands there, shocked, seeing this young girl essentially walking right up to him. And from the surprise of it, he doesn't even take notice that you put your hand out and lay it on him. And as you do, his body tightens and stiffens. And as it tightens and stiffens, he gets confused for a moment, and he takes a shocked icon, or a status. And we can pull that up in a moment and see what shocked does. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and keep
Stunned.
going. Or stunned, yeah. And then the warhound growls at Duroc, just growling at him, but continues staying at the side of his master, licking his face, encouraging him to get up, not realizing that he's not going to get up. Just continues growling, moving back and forth, but not leaving his master's side. This bandit over here is stunned. Let's look up what stunned does real quick, unless you know already.
I have something. So stunned, you are incapable of taking an action, but are capable of half your normal movement. You can defend yourself in a pose test. If you have any stunned conditions, any opponent trying to strike you in melee gains +1 advantage. You also suffer -10 to all tests. At the end of each round, you may attempt a challenging endurance test, which is just your base kind of endurance test. If successful, you remove a stunned condition, and each degree of success removes an extra one. Once all stunned conditions are removed, gain 1 fatigued condition if you don't have one already.
So he can still make his move.
Mm-hmm.
So being shocked, stunned, not knowing what's happening to him, why he can't raise his sword against you, kind of stumbles away and starts making his way towards the crypt entrance. And as he makes his way towards the crypt entrance, his turn ends and he makes his endurance test. Is it endurance? Or
Yes.
endurance? Oh, yeah.
So he is still stunned.
And unable to do anything, he just starts shuffling towards the front entrance. Lucian.
So my run amount is 16, correct?
Yes.
Lucian seeing this bandit start heading out, yells, "Not on my watch, you bastard!" and goes charging down to try and intercept him.
Duroc.
Duroc looks at the beast, licking his dead master's face, and says, "I've no want to kill you, you mongrel. Calm yourself," and just kind of look threatening, but also trying to just calm this beast, that it would leave him alone, because the moment you turn your back on a dog like this, it attacks you. So I guess charm animal.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Oh shit.
So you look at it and you are trying to tell it to calm down. And whether it's your actions, your voice, the red in your beard, it immediately attacks you.
I'm assuming you can't parry a dog bite.
You can dodge. Yeah, you can parry. You can knock
Parry?
his.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll parry. I'll attempt to parry, I should say.
Well. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So this would just be, because I don't have any bonuses, would just be my usual base weapon skill.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But since you both have the same success level, you have skill, so you actually win that. He lunges at you, snarling, but you are now engaged.
Congratulations. Wins the wedding.
Juliana.
Juliana hefts the sword in her hand, penning it back and forth before looking to the other bandit who's stumbling towards the door. She, again, just kind of takes off, not saying too much, still cupping her cheek as blood kind of pours out of it. And she runs down to attempt to help Lucian chase the bandit down as he stumbles out.
Arda.
She watches as he passes her, stumbling as he does so, not being able to move very well. Where are you going? And she's gonna kind of move after him and is gonna stab him in the back with her dagger as he's trying to get out. Should I use melee basic for that? Is a dagger basic?
Yes,
Yes.
it is. And you get a advantage because your last test against him was successful.
it'd be a
So
plus
you-
20 because she succeeded one at. Well, I guess there was no test for the shock, so no, just Is that a charge that she's doing?
Oh, did you just charge him, or you just walk up to him? You said.
I mean, he can only move half movement, so I figured I'd be able to just walk to him.
You get
But you get a bonus if you charge.
I guess I charge then.
So he's stunned, so that gives you plus 10. You charge, that gives you plus 10, so you get plus 20 to your basic melee attack.
Can I use one of my things and reroll?
Yes, you can.
Fortune. Mm-hmm.
Fortune? Okay.
Nice.
And when they're stunned, they can only defend, correct?
Yes, he can still defend. He gets a minus 10. Ooh, that's still good enough.
As he's walking
No.
away, maybe it's because you charged, but the sound of your feet on the ground makes him turn around, and as he turns around and sees you come lunging in with your dagger, he's able to knock your dagger away just in time with his sword.
Yeah, was that with a minus 10? He
I-
makes minus 10s on all his tests.
No, it would have been a 26, still would have
Yep.
passed. Yeah.
Passed by 1 SL.
Oh, passed by 1 SL, so they'd be tied for SL. She has the higher rating, so she actually succeeds. Arda, you actually do succeed, because I didn't take into account his minus 10 for being stunned. So you come in with your dagger, and as he turns around to face you, it's not in time. Go ahead and roll your dagger to see where
Okay.
you hit him.
All right.
You hit him in the right arm. You hit him for your strength bonus plus your 2 SL.
Strength is +3.
So it'd be
So,
plus
3, 5,
7.
6, 7.
Yep.
You hit him for 7. He has no armor there. So you hit him and you create a large gash across his right arm, which is his weapon arm. You also have a success against him, so you'll have advantage on him next round.
You already got your chance. You're not allowed to leave.
As you're fighting him down there, preventing him from... The scene shifts back up towards the pool, where the snarling dog is snapping at Duroc. He goes to take a bite out of him. So he goes to take a bite at you, but due to your positioning, due to your better skill, due to your weapon, you're able to fight him off. This one down here attempts to overcome his status that he's in right now, and he does. He's simply fatigued. He looks at you. What was that? And his sword is in his hand, his arm bloodied, the blood trickling down into his hand, onto the pommel, creating a slippery grip. He tries backing away from you, not knowing what's going on, holding the sword up, pointing it at you. He backs away further. Lucian.
Lucian is going to continue running forward to try and get within range to prevent him fleeing. And he runs up to there.
Okay. Duroc.
Gotta try to get this dog off me. Duroc raises his axe and just kind of grimaces. It's just a beast. It doesn't know any better, but it's trying to kill him, and that's all he needs. Oh, maybe not.
So you raise your sword, your axe, and try and bring it down on him. Maybe it's the pool of blood under your feet, but your aim is off and you slip. But not only do you slip, it gives the dog a chance to attack back. The dog snarls at you, and he goes in to attack back at you. And he snaps at you, and as he snaps at you, he misses you.
Mangy, full-rigged, umgy slave, I'm gonna gut you!
Juliana.
Juliana looks back and forth between the bandit attempting to escape and between the dog. She makes a decision to actually take out her dagger, taking her left hand away from her face, putting the hilt of the sword into that hand, taking out the dagger, and attempting to, after stepping a bit forward, throw it at the bandit.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just gonna move more into position though. Alright. So this will be
You can
Yes,
just
yeah.
use your regular ballistic skill because I don't think you have anything.
I do not.
What's the range on this for the dagger?
That I don't know.
You're throwing it pretty far, so I'm just going to go ahead and implement a negative 10.
Oh.
You throw it and you hear it just kind of clanking as it hits the floor and slides off into the distance over here somewhere.
And she quickly adjusts the sword back into her right hand, again holding her left hand up to her face. Damn it.
Duroc. Arda.
He's still stunned, right? He didn't pass his test last round.
He did.
He
Yes.
did. He's just fatigued now.
Why are you running? She's gonna step forward and shock him again.
He's fatigued and he's facing Lucian and Juliana, who's throwing daggers at him. He's distracted and doesn't notice you coming up behind him. And you put your hand out again. He feels that same feeling of his muscles tightening and stiffening. It's just, oh, what is this? He screams out as he turns and sees you standing there again. He wants to raise his sword, but he's unable to. His muscles and tetany just stuck, unable to do anything, as if he has a cramp that he can't overcome. Oh, what foul witchcraft is this? Difficult to even move his jaw to talk because the muscles are so tightened. He stands there staring at you in fear.
Let's not throw around the W word here. I learned it at college.
So it's his turn now. He's going to do nothing except try and break free of this, which he doesn't. He stands there just kind of quivering, panicked, not knowing why his body won't do what he wants it to do. Lucian.
Lucian is going to continue charging forward and is going to come at him with his hand axe. So it's a plus 10 for the charge and a plus 20 for outnumbering, so plus 30 total.
And a plus 10 for him being stunned.
This might get ugly.
So you hit him easily. Go ahead and roll your weapon. Ooh, so 7 plus 3 against his right leg. So what does that look like as you bring the weapon down on his right leg?
Yeah, so he's kind of turned and facing towards Arda. And as he does so, Lucian just runs forward and actually kind of drops down and does like a slide behind him and slices his right leg clean off at the knee. And and as he slides in, comes to the door, the momentum carries, and he ends up standing right there in between what's apparently the corpse of the guy and the door he was trying to get to.
You stand there and he is looking up at you with shocked eyes, wide, panic and fear. With his eyes, he kind of glances over at Arda, then he glances back over at you, Lucian. as the color in his face disappears and drains, blood spilling out all over the crypt floor. You can see the life disappearing out of him, and all he can do is lie there looking up at both of you, wondering what happened.
Lucian leans down just before the lights go out of his eyes and whispers, "Remember to tell the gods I gave you a chance." And is going to try and tear off some of his robe that isn't currently soiled in blood. And once he does that, he's going to make his way over to Juliana. Oh, wait, no, wait, the dog is still alive. My bad, forgot combat wasn't over.
Yeah, Duroc is still fighting this savage wee beastie over here. Duroc, your turn.
There's not but one thing to do.
Oh, poor wee beastie.
Remember, he's got advantage, so he actually gets +1 SL.
Mm-hmm. So basically he just he sidesteps, not sidesteps, but sees you kind of coming in at him and kind of scampers to the side just a little bit as your axe comes down. Again, you're standing in a pool of blood and it's causing your footing to be off just a little bit.
Duric's neck starts to tighten up into the veins and, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you!" Just swinging the axe everywhere, trying to hit this damn dog.
Juliana.
Juliana, seeing the bandit by the door get quickly dispatched by both Arda and Lucian, she hears Duroc cursing at the mutt that's still attacking him, still alive. She turns and hurries over towards the water here, to the raised platform, and carefully making her way onto it.
Arda.
She looks down at the guy who just died, then looks at Lucian. Thanks for the help. She's gonna kneel down, grab the sword that he had, kind of pick it up, testing the weight to make sure she can handle it, and feeling pretty good.
You have a
Dwarf,
sword.
are you okay?
Ah!
That's normal for him, right? She kind of whispers to Lucian. And she's gonna step over here just a little, kind of wait for him to be done, but she's not too worried about it.
Okay. The dog, the war hound, he snaps back.
He's got more SL.
He snaps back and is able to actually get in there and get a bite in. He gets his bite in on your left leg for 8 minus your toughness bonus.
That'd be 4. 4 damage.
So with his powerful jaws just kind of reach in and grabs your thick leg, treating it like a hunk of meat. He just latches onto it, snarling, drool and blood going down your shin, down the back of your calf as his head kind of just starts tugging back and forth. Lucian.
Lucian, hearing the commotion and the cries of the dwarf, is going to try and sprint up to help his companion. As he sprints past Arda, he's gonna say, "Stay back, girl. Check the body. See if there's anything useful."
Okay.
So
And
Duroc.
that's gonna be it for him. Yeah.
Yep, Duroc.
Duroc's had enough. Duroc drops his axe, and we're gonna go for our second resilience spend in less than 15 minutes to grab this dog. And
Yep,
I'm gonna
that'll be grapple.
That is critical success for it. I'm not even just gonna do resilience. I'm just gonna spend it,
Okay.
and I'm grabbing the dog.
So with the critical success, you easily reach down, grab this dog that just let go of your leg, your calf, and you reach down and wrap your big, meaty hands around him, pick him up. What do?
I'm throwing it in the goddamn water.
You pick him up, you heave him up over your head, you turn towards the pool, and then whoosh, throw him into the water. You hear "Roar!" as he makes a big splash, splashing Juliana with the water as he goes in, and he sits there just kind of yelping and paddling, trying to stay above water.
This is a deep hole, right? Kinda deep.
Yeah, it's fairly deep.
Look down at. Have fun getting out of there, you booger! Spit down in the water. Pick up my axe. Bloody mongrel.
With the dog off of your leg, trying to just fight for its life in the water, all of the bandits dead, you look around, you don't see any other threats. What is it you guys would like to do?
Duroc, after looks at his leg and just kind of shrugs it. Nothing he hasn't dealt with before, and begins to whistle a dwarfen tune as he begins to decapitate the bandit leader's head to bring back his proof for their contract, while also rifling through his pockets. As coin left is coin wasted.
And Juliana steps off the platform, makes her way over to this bandit, still cupping her cheek. She takes her hand away and takes a bloody hand down, grabbing some of his tunic, taking the sword and cutting a piece off before trying to makeshift apply it to her face to try and hold it all together. She hisses as the fabric touches her face, and she starts to rifle through the pockets of the bandit before looking up to Lucian.
As the fabric, right as she's getting the fabric to her face, is when Lucian manages to come up and says, "There, let me take a look at it. Let me see, Juliana." And he takes the cloth and kind of takes a peek at where she was cut, and smiles and says, "Just as pretty as ever, even more pretty even. There, it's going to be okay. Let me take care of this." And as he does so, he places the cloth back to her cheek and applies just a little bit of pressure. And his other hand, he places it gently on the back of her hair and leans forward and plants a small kiss on her forehead.
And she frowns, which doesn't wave him off, kind of hissing as he removes the cloth and then places it back on her face. You don't have to baby me. I know it's not going to be a very attractive scar after this, though. I think my father might be a little bit proud that I finally got one. Just, be gentle.
Of course, but frankly, fuck your father. Not that he ever knew what he had in you, but I don't think it'll scar that badly. And who knows, maybe our resident wizard, whatever she is, might know something helpful for this.
I do hope so. I'm not one for having almost half my face cut apart. It is not the most comfortable. She'll look down at Lucian's arm. How are you feeling?
Just a scratch. The children of Mordheim used to do much worse. So nothing I haven't dealt with before. Don't worry.
All right. Maybe we should see if we can see what they were moving before we came in here. And she'll turn her head over to where the 3 bandits were before they entered.
Yeah, so you move throughout the area and you find various different things. You find crates, and it's a lot of cargo. It's exactly basically what they told you they were missing, especially from that last carriage that was attacked that led you here in the first place. You find crates of dried fish. You find various leather, sundries, leather work, different items, tools. That's not really anything fancy or impressive, but it was how they made their livelihood, and it's how the people of the village made their livelihood and needed this all to stop.
Did the bandit leader have any armor on it?
The bandit leader had leather armor on everything except his head. So yes, you do see that he is wearing armors, and all of the other 3 are all wearing leather armor on their bodies only.
Lucian is going to try and help himself to the leather armor that the leader had.
Sure, you can add leather armor to all parts except for the head.
Great.
And Juliana takes the body armor, the leather from the head, or the one with the sword mark in his head, kind of roughly pulling it off. I do not have anything to match this.
Sure, you can add body armor, leather armor to the body.
Yeah, she
torso.
puts it over her kind of raggedy, fine clothes and gives herself a look, still kind of cradling her cheek a bit. This way I have to do.
Arda's gonna do the same for the guy at the door. I typed it out, but once she hears Lucian call me a witch or a wizard, she's going to yell back, "Don't call me a witch, please. That gets people killed." And as she's taking this leather armor off and kind of searching the pockets of the rest of this guy, is the dog still kind of struggling, or is it drowned?
The dog is in there just kind of struggling.
She hears its yelps and its cries as it's trying to kind of fight to stay above water. She moves over and kind of gets on the little pedestal, tapping the side, trying to get its attention, trying to get it to move towards her a little.
Okay. It kind of paddles its way towards you as much as it can, making its way to the edge.
She's going to reach out and shock it.
As it paddles towards you, kind of whimpering, looking for help, you put your hand out. And as you put your hand out, it trustfully puts its paw out towards you, thinking you're going to pull it out of the water. And as it puts its paw out for you and it's whimpering, it feels the course of energy course through its body, and it tightens up and tries to let out a whimper, and you can see it tightening up. And as it tightens up, the paddling becomes more difficult, and you see the dog kind of start bobbing in and out of the water. His head goes under, and he tries putting his nose up above the water. You can see his wet nose sticking there as it slowly starts to sink more and more. Then it lets out one final whimper as it goes under the water. You can see little riblets and waves as it continues to try and struggle back and forth by turning its body side to side under the water. But it's gone, and you know it's not coming back.
Silence. So what do we find?
Oh my god.
Good riddance to bad rubbish. That wine was getting in the way of my song.
Yes, the splashing was fairly irritating, though that was a bit cruel, no?
What's cruel is what it did to my leg. It's a water beast, not a puppy.
Still, I think it is...
Was chopping it up with an axe not crueler?
I gave it a chance. The beast chose to attack me. Chose its own fate, though it's too stupid to realize it, or was too stupid to realize it. Makes no difference now, thanks to you.
Duroc's right. I don't like it, but the beast needed to be put down.
Fine.
Umgir too soft.
Don't worry, I'm definitely not soft, only flesh is.
How much are we getting paid for this again, manling? I'm looking at Lucian.
Good question.
Oh, yeah, yep, sorry. Your contract was for 3 gold pieces each.
3 gold apiece. Not sure where the village is keeping all that hidden, but I'm more than willing to take it off their head.
Bloody pittance. Probably not worth the effort, but that's what I've come to expect lately.
This is something. Maybe we can go through a few of these crates before we get back. Maybe take some of the food. They might not notice, or we can just blame it on the bandits. She'll start kind of going into them, go into the crates.
Goodness, what you Umge won't do to backstab each other.
Well, I see it as this is also a sort of payment. Plus, I mean, I might be permanently disfigured, so I'd like at least some sort of fish to make up for it. I think this is only fair.
Lucian kind of walks over towards Arda and kind of mumbles, is there anything your magic can do for these injuries? Not sure what your kind are capable of.
As you guys are talking, you are, kind of dragging the crates and everything out to the front of the crypt so that you're not in there anymore. Dragging all the crates and the belongings and armor and weapons out to the front here so you can continue with your conversations and everything out here rather than in that dank, cold crypt.
Not yet. Maybe one day, but right now I've just got what I have in here, and she holds up her grimoire. It's not much.
What about any medicinal training or anything like that? Did they teach you anything like that at your fancy college?
It's not something I necessarily am practiced in, but I can try.
Aye, let me take a look at it. I've been around for longer than all three of you put together. I know a thing or two about fixing problems.
As they step outside, Juliana seems to be a lot more comfortable, taking a deep breath, and kind of breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. And she looks down to the dwarf. If you think that it will work, I would much appreciate it, Duroc. And she'll kind of kneel down a bit. Just, I do not know how gentle your hands can be, but the best you can do would be much appreciated.
I was a bloody fisher dwarf. I'm more fancy and more practical with my hands than any of you. Come here, and just kind of grab you roughly and put you against a tree stump, and then start going through some just rags and tatters that we have in our general equipment. And look around here. That's mostly clean. Let's see if I can give you a nice little facial bandage for a moment here.
Better than
Walk
rags.
over. Look around. I do have heal, so I will attempt to roll it.
So you're able to essentially staunch the bleeding with the rags. That's easy enough. You just put rags on her face, which stops the bleeding. But as far as doing any real benefit to the wound, there's no benefit other than she is no longer bleeding.
There you go. And I'll kind of slap her on the cheek where the wound was a bit. All fixed up.
I don't think slapping me after that is part of any sort of healing or medical training.
No? Well, then you wouldn't last 5 minutes in a dwarfen hole.
That's why I'm a human, not a fucking dwarf.
Bah, unlucky for you.
I prefer
Start grabbing the crates.
at those spaces anyway. And she'll get up from her seated position against the stump. I guess we have to haul all this back to the village now. Another few days of barely any sleep and no washing, of course.
Was that part of the contract to return these goods, or?
I mean, not necessarily return the goods. They wanted you to either capture or kill the bandits and return with proof of that, and you can let them know where the goods are, and they can come get them.
If that's the case, we'd take the stuff we're taking out of the crypt, and Lucian would cut off the head of the bandit, but we'd probably leave the crates and everything inside the crypt as a way to one, keep them safe from the elements and kind of keep them safe from anyone else coming along and finding them.
Sure. Yep. Makes sense.
Well, at this point, we might as well head back and get the gold.
Yes,
Paltry sum though it might be, it's
it
still
is something.
more than we have at the moment.
At least it is something. Maybe I can get someone to maybe look at my face, I don't know.
Oh, your face is bloody fine. Grow a backbone.
I have one, but I, rather not have an infection or anything like that. I don't think I can have a backbone against, blood infections or anything like that.
Don't worry, Juliana. Scars are sexy right now. Isn't that right, Lucian?
I'm pretty sure Lucian will fuck anything that moves, so I don't think I have anything to worry about.
Not anything. I have standards. You've never seen me making a pass at our dwarven friend have.
Fair.
Ha! Thought you were gonna say me for a second.
I mean,
Anyway. Let's head. Did you guys find any coin or anything on the bandits?
I think we found a few.
So you find enough items, whether it's small gems, coins, jewels, precious metals, that kind of thing also, that they stole. Not only did they steal the cargo and crates from these carriages, but they also stole from the drivers and the merchants themselves that were on these carriages, delivering this product. And that's you find enough equivalent to about 1 silver piece each.
Can I go ahead and roll my criminal bonus for and say this is where it comes from rather than like getting it at the village when we get paid?
What does it do? I'm sorry.
So what the criminal talent does is for each like level in it, you the amount you get paid increases by a certain amount whenever like you like make money in game. At my current level, it's just 2d10 like brass pennies, and I think just thematically it makes more sense that Lucian was able to find that in like hidden pockets and stuff than when he gets to town. If that's cool.
Sure. Yep, that makes sense.
So an extra 7 brass pennies.
Yep, you find some other little loose ends and secret sewn-in pockets on some of the bandits that they were keeping some brass pennies in. So you get those extra 7 that you quickly put in your pockets and hide away from the rest of the group. So if you guys are all done collecting what you want from the bodies and from the crates and cargo, you could head back to the small fishing village that you came from.
Yeah, sounds good. At one point, Lucian is going to kind of fall back by Arda and just say, "Nice job back there. It's your first time really seeing a fight with us, and you held your own."
Thanks. I think I can handle one-on-one fights, okay? Anything more than that, I'm not sure how useful I am at this point, but glad I could help a little. Had to pay you back sometime, right?
Hey, and this is a start, but hopefully we'll have some bigger paydays coming our way soon.
Hopefully. But until then, I've got your back.
Do you think your master would approve of this kind of experience? Was this what he had in mind when he sent you out into the...
I mean, he wanted me to practice these 4 spells, so I'm getting practice, right?
That you are.
Just maybe don't tell him the specifics if you ever meet him.
If I ever meet your master, something tells me things would have gone terribly wrong for me.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure you're allowed in the college, but you never know. Just hush hush, I don't wanna be pacified or anything.
So the 4 of you make your way through the woods, carrying what you can, tending to your wounds. It took you 2 days to get here, so you know it's going to take you at least 2 days to get back. You're walking, trudging, your feet crunching on old leaves on the ground as the weather cools off, mud clinging to the hems of your clothes as they dip in and out of puddles. The dwarf, while strong, takes up the rear of the group, keeping up, but only just so. You camp one night, and it goes by uneventful, sitting around a crackling fire, again tending to your wounds, just going over what had happened the day before in the crypt. You get up the next day and finally make it back to where you started. Small fishing village just off to the south. You walk in behind the village to the south. You can see the gray mountains, impressive and ominous, standing tall in the background. You come in and you remember now. Yes. A reprieve from the wilds. A reprieve from everything that was going on out there, the discomfort, the wet, rocky ground. You come into the village, satisfied and happy to finally be somewhere, even a place this small, that has some form of civilization.
Juliana looks around the area. She's got brows furrowed. She's pissed off still that to walk so far. 2 days walking. Though they've walked much further, it's still irritating. She kind of looks at her, down at her clothes, looks at the mud that's been caked on, kind of feeling it in her shoes. Let's just get this over with and maybe we can get cleaned up or something. I feel absolutely disgusting.
Lucian nods, kind of looking around and being like, where's that village elder?
So you remember the one that gave you the job. His name was Anhalf. And it's a small village. It's easy to remember where his small home is. So you quickly make your way there, I'm assuming, unless you are looking for your rooms that you have to do anything else.
Lucian's going to be making sure we get paid first. So whatever the others are doing, he's going to the Arnholz.
So you all make your way to Anholf's home, and you come across a wooden structure, a small structure with smoke billowing out the top, and you knock on the door, and a man answers and says, "Oh yes, well, I'm glad to see you've made it back," and lets you in. He walks downstairs into like a basement level. He's got a fire going in the corner. He's got a table set and has you all kind of just sit around it. I trust it was successful.
We've dealt with your problem. The bandits are gone. Now pay us and we'll tell you where you can find your goods.
Yeah, yes, of course. And you see he turns around and he goes into another room briefly, comes back out. He comes back out and he's carrying a small leather pouch. You can hear the clanking of coins in it. He says, "Well, here you go, just as promised." And he lets the bag hit the wooden table with a little thud. And it opens up just slightly and you can see the gold inside.
Lucian is going to reach out and take the gold and count the coins, lift one up and kind of bite it a little bit to make sure it seems like real gold, feel the weight of it, all that.
Yes, well, I trust you have proof for us that this is done, that we won't have to worry about these bandits anymore.
Duroc will unrope the bandit leader's head from his waist and just slam it on the table. That proof enough for you?
As you slam it on the table, there's just a little bit of a splatter at the bottom as you slam it down, and Anolf gets wide-eyed and shocked and steps back just a moment and brings his hand up to his chest. Uh, uh, yes, I guess that's exactly the kind of thing I would expect from a dwarf. Quite brutal there, Master Dwarf. Could you please take it away from where I eat my dinner?
I'm planning to keep it anyway. And kind of restring it back to his waist and go over to Lucian. Give him my cut.
Lucian is gonna pull out three coins, hand them to Duroc, and do the same for Juliana and Arda.
Now I'm gonna go get drunk at the tavern. Let me know when we're leaving. And Duroc's gonna stomp up the stairs and head towards whatever the inn is, likely the same one they're staying at.
So anything else going on in the vicinity of the village? Any other problems you might need taken care of? Or you know of anybody nearby that could use the work of some competent hand?
The old man kind of stooped over just a little bit. He looks frail and thin, but he scratches his beard just a little as he's walking by. He's like, well, I mean, usually I'd say no to that kind of thing, but strangely enough, there was a man passing here a couple of days ago, right when you folks took off to go after those bandits. He was looking for a group, he said. Had a job, he was wandering through here. Mind you, he wasn't looking to hire anyone not in this town. We all just, fishers, villagers, farmers. Not the type of people that would take on a job like that. But we had some food and some drinks, and he let me know what his business was. And he was off. I believe he was going to be headed to Altdorf, looking for someone who could do a job for him. I don't think he's gotten very far. I think you could probably catch him at the next village up. But I can't say for sure.
What was this stranger's name?
Well, he said his name was Gundolf Schau. He said he was working for a very important man back to the south. I'm not sure exactly where he came from. He didn't tell me that. But he did say that he was paying well for anyone who could help him. That's the only thing I know of. Like I said, around here we don't have much use for the likes of you. This was a special occasion, I guess. We needed someone to take care of those bandits, and, well, that you did.
Right. Speaking of, there's a crypt about 2 days northeast from here, overgrown. That's where you'll find your goods, and a few bandit corpses.
A crypt, you say? That's northeast of here, 2 days. I think I might know the place. Snuck off there once or twice in my youth. It was a good place to go, get away for a couple of days, but hide out, not be around all those people in charge, like parents and such, and leaders and elders. It's just fond memories of that place, I think. If it's the one I'm talking about, or if you're talking about it, I'm thinking of anyways. But, yeah, I'll have some of the men check it out. They'll head up there. Hopefully we can get our things back, get our commerce back on track. These roads around here, they're the lifeblood of this village, of all the villages around here. The roads, the rivers, this is how we make our livings. Without it, we would all die.
Yeah, I think that place definitely had a lot of fond memories in it. I could tell. Actually, I was wondering as well, do you happen to have, like, a medicine man, medicine woman somewhere in town? Someone who takes care of the sick or injured?
Well, there's an old Sawbones. He's usually around the tavern. If you can catch him when he's not drunk, well, then he might be able to help you.
Juliana, let's go to the Sawbones.
All right. Mm,
Not sure the dwarf did a very good job.
no, I don't think so either. My face still hurts very much. Maybe you should train up some of the individuals in the city so you don't get robbed again, no?
Well, normally, yes, we would. But, with the state of things in this countryside, well, anyone who's able to fight is either conscripted and taken and, well, they don't always come back. And usually if they are gone, they get a taste for better things and they don't come back. Or, well, we just never hear or see from them again. It's a hard life out there right now. I think you know that, but hopefully after these wars are over, the fighting's done, and we have an emperor again, a real emperor, someone who can take control. Well, maybe our village will be back up to fighting strength once more.
Yes, well, hopefully you don't get robbed by any more bandits who take your things, or else you might not be able to find 4 people capable of dealing with them again.
Oh, well, lass, from the looks of your face, it looks like you folks were barely able to take care of them yourselves.
Yes, again, you're welcome. She'll
Yeah, well,
get up and start leaving.
I didn't mean anything by that. I was just saying it looked like it was a hard fight.
She won't even look back. She'll just start trudging up the stairs and heading towards the tavern with a scowl on her face.
Lucian takes the gold and follows after her.
Okay.
Thanks for the gold. Have a good day. And she's gonna walk out.
Okay, so you guys walk out and make your way back into the village. You're making your way back into the village as you head off to look for the tavern. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So you walk through the village and the tavern. It's a small village. It's an easy place to find. You come across a building. There's a couple of old men walking in and out of it. As they're walking in and out of it, they're stumbling just a little bit. And as they stumble, you see the board sign above it of what looks like a hen. And you walk into a tavern called the Old Speckled Hen. And that is not it. I apologize.
It's like, who's this guy in the old speckled hen?
There you go. So you walk into the Old Speckled Hen. And as you walk into the Old Speckled Hen, there's a fire going. There's a couple of people sitting around. There's a barkeep off in the corner. And the place is dank, dark, a little depressing. You walk in, look around, see all the different people around there. There's three in the tavern, and 1 behind the bar.
And Duroc's gonna go immediately up to the bar and pound on the bar row. How much for an ale?
Well, that'll be one brass penny, sir.
Bring me 5. Put 5 brass pennies on the table.
Well, yes, sir. Well, yes, sir. And he quickly rushes off and starts pouring ale into wooden tankards and turning around and bringing them back. So, are you the folks that went out there and took care of the bandits?
Yep, that was us. Just got back. You have the honor of serving us first drinks.
Well, it is an honor. I was hoping you might make your way this way. Usually travelers do, so I was pretty sure you would. Or I just want to thank you as one of the merchants here whose livelihood was affected. I just wanted to thank you personally. Next round's on me.
Well, perfect. Might as well start that round now.
He turns around and immediately pours 4 more tankards and brings them back to the bar and kind of just slams them down onto the wooden bar and pushes them forward towards you guys.
Thanks
Tell
so
me,
much.
barkeep, was there a man coming through here the other day saying something about a job?
A man coming through here about a job. And he kind of, you can see his eyes look up as he kind of squints his eyes as if he's thinking. A man coming through here. Well, oh yes, yes. Oh, that was just, I believe, 2 days ago. A man, I forget what he said his name was. He said he was looking for people to hire for a job for. I believe he said it was for his master. It wasn't a job for him really. It was for someone he works for. I don't know the details. All that's fuzzy, but yes, that conversation does stand out. He stood here. Like I said, travelers tend to come through here, and they do tend to talk, especially after a couple of my ales.
Right. Did he mention anything about what the job entailed?
Like I said, he was a little fuzzy on the details. I think his master wants him to find someone to do something. You get it?
Those are some very fuzzy details. How much have you had to drink, barkeep?
But I don't drink my own product unless someone buys it for me, because that would be a waste of money on my part.
So manly with good sense. That's what that is.
So, like I said, he was looking for people to do a job for him, but it sounded like he was hired to find these people. So it's like he's doing a job for someone who needs a job done. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It makes sense. We're good, barkeep. Thank you for the drinks.
Also,
Yes, well, anything for you folks.
if you are saying anything, where is these local Sawbones? Is he here? Is he drunk already?
And he points to one of the tables, and you can see there's a man over there whose head is face down on a table with a couple of empty tankards around him. Right over there. That's him.
Of course. She'll look to him. Kind of giving him a bit of an eye roll before looking back to the barkeep. I'm guessing he usually gets like this. What time does he usually come into the bar?
Oh, well, I mean, he's usually here first thing in the morning. One of my best customers, really.
So you're saying that in order to catch him when he is not face down in his own, the rule to come here in the morning?
Well, I mean, I guess so, yeah. Because if he comes here in the morning, and you want to get him before he's, well, and he points over at him like that, then I guess you would need to come here in the morning too then. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a good deal of sense. And
Oh, good. I'm so glad I could help you folks.
another question. Do you have anywhere that maybe we could bathe. We're all a little bit, she'll kind of look to the other three. Disgusting.
Well, yes. I mean, I've got rooms here. There are some rooms that do have tubs in them. You can heat some water in the fireplace if you'd like, and you can use some hot water. But I do have some rooms for you. Let's go ahead and we'll make it discounted since you did us such a service.
And what is the discount?
And he kind of looks up to the right, and you can see him mumbling something to himself, and then you see his fingers kind of moving back and forth as if he's trying to do the math in his head.
If you tell me the numbers you need, I could do the math for you.
Well, it would be 1 silver piece. I mean, normally hot water tub private room, that would be 2 silver, and then half of that is a discount for you folks. Well, that would be 1 silver piece, so 1 is half of the 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 1 silver for each of us, or all together?
No, 1 silver for all of you.
Alright. She's gonna put a silver down. I've got it.
I've got a question though, innkeeper.
Yes, Master Dwarf.
So, if she were to want, say, and he's like on his 5th pint at this point, say she were to want, she's a very dainty lass, as you can tell, perhaps some soaps and a bowl of fruit, that would also go well with her also. Do you have any of that? And he's being sarcastic, clearly. Not to bother him, but to mess with Juliana.
And he obviously doesn't pick up on that context. And a bowl of fruit, well, I don't think I have any fruit around here. You might have to go somewhere just a little larger with a little more farmland around. You want something like that, it might be pretty pricey. I do have some dried fish, though. I mean, if you want that, I've got plenty.
Oh, some dried fish. You hear that, Juliana? You could double that as soap.
And Juliana will give a glare over to Duroc. I think I am fine for now.
Barkeep, 5 more pints, please.
Yes, Master Dwarf. And he smiles and happily turns around, pours 4 more pints, and turns around and slams them down onto the bar.
Well, I am happy to... You said 1 silver for all of us? Yes?
I already paid it.
And Juliana was kind of face full in her drink at that point. Apologies. I'm a bit distracted. I am going to go.
Would you like to take the bath first?
Yes, that would be very much appreciated. I feel absolutely horrid. And she'll finish her drink off and get up from the bar. I will be back at some point before she makes her way upstairs.
Don't drown.
I'll attempt.
So Juliana
She's not
makes
a
her...
dog.
She, like, Arda coughs up beer-flavored water as you say that and kind of spits it up. Laugh.
She makes her way up to the private room to bathe and change. The rest of you are out here, or still down here, and there's been a couple of people who have come in and gone out of the tavern here, the old Speckled Hen, and you see the old Sawbones a couple of times kind of mumble and groan and move back and forth just a little bit, but continues to sleep at the table.
And Duroc will look over at Lucian. 3 gold pieces, manling. and we almost died for a bunch of fish.
Men die for less all the time. And we didn't almost die, we're alive. We have our gold and you have your ale. But trust me, the next job it'll be bigger. I've got a feeling about that.
I've been hearing it manling for the last couple of weeks, over and over again. Next job will have more money. Next job will pay more. I'm not on a timetable manling, but I would like to get paid properly for my services. And 3 gold pieces, while coming from this place is quite a surprise, a job it does not make. We need real coin, manling. I need real coin for what I'm trying to do.
This next job, this man was hired by someone else. That means whoever hired him has enough gold to send a stranger trapezing around the country. Maybe that'll pan out into something really lucrative, or if not, Altmark is nearby. Cities always have work for men like us. There's payment coming your way. You stick with me and I guarantee it.
How much do you expect for your services? What's your price?
Look over at the wizard and kind of look a bit skeptical.
Lucian doesn't realize that Arda was asking that to Duroc, and without missing a beat, just goes, "Well, for you, Arda, my services, I could do a discount." And winks.
Well, unlike the manling, I do not fancy you. So, I would require quite a bit of gold if I were to travel in your service. Let's see. Organize a whole expedition, a proper doorway. By the end of whatever travels you'd have me on, probably about 1,000 gold pieces. To start.
1,000?
Not over one job, mind you. I could do several in order to get there, but that would be what I would be expecting, hopefully by year's end. Though the rate we're going at now, it kind of looks sidelong at Lucian, I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to have 2 coppers to rub together.
Maybe if you weren't drinking it away the whole time.
Manly, you mind your purse and I'll mind mine. I haven't spent any gold here. Everything I've spent was some leftover coin. This is moderation for me. Got to drink and eat, don't we?
And as you're talking, you see the man in the corner who has been identified as Old Sawbones. You see him kind of just stir just a little bit. And as he stirs, he mumbles, and then from mumbling, he goes to kind of moving just slightly back and forth, rocking, and sits up at the table. And as he sits up at the table, he looks at you. The barkeep says, "Hey, look, I think he's awake."
All right. She takes out her purse and plops 2 gold coins in front of the dwarf. You're lucky I'm so nice. And you're lucky, and she kind of gestures over at Lucian, that I don't tell Juliana that you're trying to flirt with a young pure girl like me. And she stands up from the bar and is gonna head over towards Old Sawbones.
The wizard has some fire in her.
That she does, though. After what she did with the dog, I'm more worried about the sparks of electricity she Remind me not to go for a dip in any pools with her nearby.
So the old man sitting at the table, he's got some drool coming down his beard. He's got wet corners of a mustache from where he was drinking. He sits at the table and he's looking at Arda, kind of cross-eyed. You can hear the barkeep yelling from the back of the tavern, from the bar. I don't know if he's quite sober yet. He might not be because he had quite a lot to drink and well, I mean, he had quite a lot to drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. She's gonna go kind of take a seat next to him, pulling over his mug and looking inside it to see if there's any still in there.
And it's empty.
Fucking course. She's gonna kind of toss it to the side. So, Mr. Sawbones, are you there? And she's gonna kind of wave her hand in front of his face.
And he rocks back and forth just a little bit and looks at you as you wave your hand in front of your face. Yeah, the movement of your hand catches his attention. Let me. Oh. And he looks at you and he finally sees that you're a young woman. And he looks you up and down. You come here.
She kind of rolls her eyes. Okay, no, you're not. We're gonna come see you in the morning. Don't get this guy too drunk in the morning. And she's gonna kind of look towards the bartender.
Yeah, you come see me. And he raises a finger up as if he's ordering another beer. He waves it in the direction of the barkeep. Barkeep looks at him and says, "Oh, I think you've had enough. You were just passed out, and your head was down on the table, and you were drooling, and now you're barely holding your head up because of how much you've had to drink. I don't think you should be drinking anymore there, Saba. Because you were just passed out. Does that make sense?" And the old man just kind of mumbles something and grumbles to himself, and his head falls back down on the table. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think you needed it anymore.
Yeah. We're gonna come back and talk to him in the morning. Please make sure that he doesn't get totally wasted right at the start of the day.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll let him know then that some people are looking for his services. He might not mind that. He might stay sober long enough to assist you. I mean, it is how he makes his money, and how he makes his money is how I make my money, because he turns around and then he spends that money here in my tavern, the Speckled Hen, and he kind of motions around to the room. And so if he makes money, then I make money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. And I saw the sign on the door. You don't have to say the name of the freaking tavern. Here. And she's gonna slam 3 copper on the bar. Just make sure he doesn't drink anything in the morning until we talk to him.
Scoops the copper up and says, "Oh, well, yes, I will. That's very kind of you. I'll make sure that he does not have a single drink, at least until you talk to him."
All right, we'll be here early, so it shouldn't be too long. I'm going to my room. And she's gonna kind of walk out.
Duroc will look up to the bartender. How much to stay in your commons?
Well, if it's just the commons, well, for you, Master Dwarf, for helping our little village here, well, I guess I won't charge you anything just to go ahead and spend the night there.
Good man. Look at Lucian. I'm going to retire for the evening. Finally, the manling beer's got me feeling a bit tired after 11 pints of it. So, I suppose wake me in the morning or I'll wake you.
Lucian nods and continues sipping on his mug of...
All right then. I'll walk over and find some place in the common room to just lay my head and start snoring loudly probably after I fall asleep.
And the barkeep is just kind of sheepishly and nervously looking over at Lucian, the old snoring sawbones with his head down on the table. Other people have kind of come and gone, but now it's basically just you three here. He just looks over and gives you a smile every time you glance at him. Kind of just awkward.
Lucian ignores him and just takes his time finishing his drink on his own before eventually going up to check in on Juliana and see how she...
And as Lucian makes his way up to Juliana to see how she's doing, the barkeep goes about cleaning his bar. He's wiping things down. He's putting away supplies and stocks. The old man at the table is snoring, just a little bit of drool coming down on his beard, the crackling fire in the corner, the sounds of a village outside as it gets darker and darker. And with that, the scene goes black.